This is Dick Justice doing the Naked Fire Trucks video review for Transformers Age of Extinction Crosshairs. Of note, I have incoming Slash, Hound, Drift, and I think that's it. But I definitely have Slash, Hound, and Drift coming in. I got some decent deals on those, so there will be more reviews coming. Crosshairs, I bought because I felt bad for all of them sitting at Target. I hate to start a review off with a complaint, but I'm going to. I can't for the life of me get the arms to peg into these fender pieces here. Just like every time I go to push the arm in, this kind of flexes out of the way just from the natural give in the plastic. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if I went out of order there or what exactly is up. Those don't quite peg in correctly on mine. I'm going to give it another go, and if it doesn't work, I might have to exchange it. Size with, here is with Reveal the Shield tracks, just to get two Corvettes going together. I guess tracks isn't really a Corvette, but, you know, close enough. So they're, you know, roughly the same size here as with Pokey. So Crosshairs does have some size to him. Kind of like how Scorn had some size to him. Like, it wasn't super smashed in there. So transformation, the first step is you're supposed to unpeg these. But on mine, they're already unpegged. Take his gun off the bottom. This is his bigger gun, but there are smaller guns. Next thing you do is you want to separate the arms enough to get this back piece out of the way. And then one of his door guns fell off. I'll peg that in back in a second. Next, you want to remove these, which will form the sides of his trench coat. And they're painted clear plastic, so they feel kind of okay, kind of not okay. One of my biggest complaints here is they didn't quite match. This is cast green plastic, this is paint. It might be more noticeable on the camera, but even off the camera, the cast green plastic is not quite the same as the paint. So that kind of looks like Crosshairs needs a better body shop than Mako, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Unpeg the hood, which becomes the back of his trench coat. Rotate the legs front, flip the foot down, flip the heel back. Leg front, foot down, heel back. Up top here, these wheel wells flip off to the back. And now you're in a position where you can, because this gun popped off, peg that back in. There's peg on the side of the gun here, and peg on, I guess it's the door. And it doesn't, it's a very shallow hole. I didn't even notice it at first. So, as much as I would like to peg that in, it might not go. Which would actually be my second complaint for this figure. Okay, it's in. We'll see how long it lasts. So then the final part of the transformation is with a little bit of weaseling. You have to get these soft black pieces into his chest. There's an extreme close-up of my hand. Now there's slots on the chest, and these require quite a bit of wiggling to get in. And then once they're in, they don't really stay in either. So as much as I would like to say that this works you know, the trench coaty wingsuit, whatever, it only sort of works. A couple other reviewers, I think, have left them out or suggested alternatives that involve leaving them out. So that is Crosshairs in robot mode. He can hold his gun. He can also hold the little guns. One thing about this guy, because of the trench coat, and this was my biggest complaint before I bought him, is he's very boxy, very hard to see the detail in the figure, which is there. I promise it's there. And it's very hard for the figure to look dynamic, I think is the word that I'm looking for. But in hand, he's actually better even than he looks in the box. This back piece here has a very precarious hinge here. It's very tight, so I'm not even going to bend it back because all it does is angle this out and doesn't really do much of anything. I'd much prefer to have an unbroken Crosshairs wearing his car off to his sides like that than a broken Crosshairs who looks slightly more dynamic, but not really. Size, here he is with Scorn. So they're kind of... Scorn's a little bit taller, but it is what it is. Pokey. I want to talk a little bit about the character, because I do actually really like this design now that I have it, but I almost feel like I would have rather seen him be some kind of like ancient detective guy who's like on the hunt for lockdown, as opposed to just some badass paratrooper. Like this design honestly would have worked for lockdown, I think, just given the, I mean, would need a little bit of modification in the head, but this, you know, the couple guns, it looks very bounty hunter-ish, and I would have almost rather seen that than what we got. But I'm not complaining because I do like the design. And okay, so what? The wheels are clip-on and it doesn't quite peg together in car mode. I've seen worse. And for the $10 that I paid for it, I'm content. Not happy, not angry, just content. So that is Age of Extinction Deluxe Crosshairs.